All right, guys, so today we're going to be talking about the topic of should you have a guard dog? I want to welcome you guys to Doggy Informed. Today we're going to be talking about the topic should you have a guard dog? Okay. Alrighty, so the advantages of having a guard dog. So as you guys can see, this is a German Shepherd dog, okay? But a guard dog can be any kind of dog. I consider a guard dog to be any kind of dog that has teeth, even if they're like a little tiny Chihuahua, all the way up to like a big, large dog like a German Shepherd, or maybe even a bigger dog. You know, like those dogs you see like those big, huge dogs people have, like, I don't know what you call those dogs, but like those guard dogs that people have. It's like some sort of black dog. I don't really know what kind of dog it is, but like if you've seen like those movies or something, like how like wealthy people have like these big dogs or something like that to like guard their possessions and all that stuff. So, any type of dog in my mind could be a guard dog, okay? So, what are the advantages of having a guard dog? Whether it's any type of dog that you have that is serving as a guard dog, okay? The advantages are no one will come into your house while you're gone. So there are a lot of people who live in apartments and they may or may not have some sketchy neighbors who are up to no good, okay? And these neighbors, who could notice your patterns of, when you come and go and things like that, and suspiciously walk past your door when you're leaving, if they know you have a dog, they're not going to be likely to try to go in your apartment because they could get bit, especially if your dog is trained to tear their ass to pieces, okay? If they come into your apartment, okay? So that's one of the advantages, is that a dog that you have guarding your home, whether it's a house or an apartment, nobody's going to willingly, go into your house, okay? They're not going to do that, especially if your dog is trained to protect the house, okay? And they know who's supposed to be there and who's not supposed to be there, okay? Another advantage is people are going to think twice before coming into your yard. So if you have a big German Shepherd in your yard like this, he looks pretty happy and stuff with his tongue out and things, but we know that dogs' temperaments can change, okay, depending on who's coming into the yard. Dogs have this sixth sense about people who can come into your yard, and sometimes dogs can tell if somebody is not supposed to be there, and so if you have someone who's going to try to steal something in your yard, for example, let's say you have your kids are playing outside, or you have nieces and nephews, or maybe you have some adopted children, or maybe you're a babysitter or something, and there's children in your yard, and you notice that there's somebody that's sketchy around, that keeps walking past your yard. And with you having a German Shepherd in the yard that is keeping watch, I don't know about you, but if you have a dog like this German Shepherd, this big dog, right? Then German Shepherds are fast, okay? They're pretty fast. They can run real quick. So if somebody tries to come into your yard and they're trying to mess with one of the kids, the German Shepherd is going to take off at them and be ready to bite them. And that's enough to scare off suspicious people, the baddies, I like to call them. Okay? That's enough to scare them off, because if somebody is a criminal and they're going to try to come into your yard and try to, grab one of your kids or something like that, right? They're not going to want a threat to be around, okay? If they notice that the dog is watching them and stuff and everything, they're going to think twice about entering the yard, because they know especially with the size of the dog. Now, what if you have a smaller dog that's guarding? If you have a smaller dogs still have teeth, okay? They still have teeth that can bite, okay? And I don't know about you, but if somebody has a Chihuahua, yeah, they're small, okay? But they bark and they're loud, okay? And they are bold, okay? So don't think a Chihuahua is not gonna run over towards somebody. Now, people, somebody might try to step in the yard, but the second the person gets bit, they're gonna be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna, go the other way. Or they see the dog's teeth out, regardless of the size of the dog, they're gonna turn around, they're gonna run away. Okay, they're gonna do that because they don't want to run the risk of getting hurt. Okay, they're likely to go to someone else's yard who does not have a dog, and then trying to take things from their yard. Another advantage is that when it comes to having a dog, okay, that's guarding, then the dog will make you alert of someone who's suspicious before you even know it, okay? So if you're walking your dog, okay, and let's say you're not particularly paying attention, you're on your phone, let's say you got a text message or you're getting a phone call or whatever, okay? Your dog is going to stay on alert because your dog is observing so many different things going on. Sure, the dog can see a squirrel and all that, but dogs have a sixth sense where if somebody's approaching you and they're not supposed to be, your dog is going to be very, very, very protective of you, and they're going to let you know, hey, they're going to pull you away from that person, or they're better yet, they're just going to start, trying to, they're going to be barking at that person. You're going to look down and notice, oh my gosh, my dog's barking at them. And then, and if they're coming towards you, the dog is going to be likely to have the teeth out, and that person's going to turn around and run away. Because, when it comes to people who are baddies or villains or criminals, they look for you to be distracted. If they know that you're aware or that there's something that's going to make you aware, they're not going to want you to be aware before they try to rob you or do anything. Okay? They're not going to want that to be the case. They're going to want to get the element of surprise. And they can't get an element of surprise with a dog. Because the dog is already on it. They're already watching and looking and checking out what's going on. Okay? Another advantage of having a dog guarding is that they can chase away the baddies who could try to harm someone you love. So I touched a little bit on this, but if you have kids playing in the yard and you have somebody coming into your yard and let's say they're trying to grab your child or they're trying to grab property from your yard, if they have a dog running at them with teeth out, that person is going to run because they do not want to get bit. They do not want that at all. A fourth advantage is that if you have a dog guarding, they are an immediate solution to threats. So if somebody comes into your apartment, okay, and they're not supposed to be in your apartment, and your dog knows that that person is not supposed to be there, then your dog is likely to be that first line of defense because they can hear things we cannot hear. So if somebody's gonna try to be unlocking your door or whatever in your home and stuff, your dog's gonna be on it, and before the person can even open your front door, the dog's already right there in front of the door. And isn't it great that your dog is standing right there in front of the door with teeth out already, and this person is like, oh, you know what, I chose the wrong apartment, or I chose the wrong house. Now, there are some people who are going to say, well, dogs can be persuaded by being given treats and stuff like that. And yeah, a dog can take a treat from somebody, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the dog is not going to know. Like, the dog is going to know that person's not supposed to be there. The dog knows the scent of people who you've had in your house. They know who's okay and who's not okay. And dogs, you know, they got that vibe. You know, they know. It's not like they're stupid. They do know. Now some dogs are, you know, can, you know, may not, if they're not trained to guard and recognize, you know, someone coming into the apartment or house that you have as a threat. If they're not trained to do that, then they're not going to. They may think that, oh, it's just somebody being a friend. But by and large, if your dog is trained to guard, then somebody's not going to be coming up in there. They're not going to be doing that. You ain't got to have a Rottweiler or nothing like that. You know, you don't have to have that be the case. You know, as a guard dog, you can have any type of dog. Any type of dog I've seen, they got teeth. And even a small dog is enough to scare somebody to back off and leave. And they are an immediate solution because as a robber or criminal, are they really going to want to deal with a dog? Because that dog is going to be biting at their leg or tearing them up so quickly that they're not going to want they're not going to want those teeth and they're sinking into their skin. They're just not going to want that. They're going to say, you know what, let me just leave. Okay. Okay, and what are the disadvantages of having a dog guarding? So one disadvantage is that if you have a dog that is trained to guard your residence, whether it's apartment or house or tiny house or some other type of place that you happen to live at, then people may be likely, and I will say this, people are going to be afraid to enter your house, especially family members of yours, if they know your dogs are into guarding. Because if your dog has never met one of your family members, the dog may approach that particular person. And it's important for you to make sure that you introduce the dog to that person and let the dog know that that person is okay. You know, so the dog is like, oh, okay, I can get used to this person. They're cool. They're good. You know. And people who may be afraid of your dog could be maintenance or repair people, utility workers, that could be from bill companies, you know, people from your electric company, water, gas, sewer company, or whatever. And also, you know, family members and friends might be afraid of your dog. And, you know, it's okay for you to introduce your dog, like I said, to your family and friends and let them know that they're okay by you. You know, the dog will relax as long as you introduce, you know, the dog to, you know, your family and friends and stuff. The dog will do that. If you don't introduce your dog to your family or friends, family members or friends, then of course the dog is going to be suspicious and might, you know, accidentally nip, you know, one of your family members or friends because they don't know that they're not a threat. Okay. Alrighty. So another disadvantage of having a dog guarding is that mail carriers may refuse to deliver your mail if they see that your dog is outside in the yard because they're afraid that they'll get attacked. One thing you can do is that if you know your mail is going to be coming, one thing you can do is you can actually just have your dog come in and, you know, have your dog to come in so that the mail carrier can deliver your mail and everything. And then, you know, you get your mail and then your dog can go back outside and everything. Just make sure you have your dog on some sort of leash, some sort of extended leash and harness and everything so the dog doesn't get out of your yard and escape. Okay? All right. Another disadvantage of having a dog guarding is that your dog may escape your yard and chase after and scare innocent people in your neighborhood. And this could be neighborhood kids, this could be your neighbors, and other people who happen to be in the neighborhood. Okay? Now, when it comes to your dog escaping, it kind of points to the point I just made that you want to make sure your dog is in a fenced-in yard. Okay? You want to make sure you have eyes on your dog. If you can't have eyes on your dog, have somebody having eyes on your dog so that that person can make sure your dog is not going to get out. You want to make sure your yard is fenced in so that the dog cannot escape Okay, so your fence should take in consideration the size of your dog and also how high your dog can jump and how likely your dog is to crawl under the fence and things. So you have to make sure you get a fence that's able to accommodate, not just one dog, but if you have more than one dog, make sure it can accommodate, the sizes of each of the dogs that you have, okay? So that none of them escape, okay? And you don't want your dog escaping. You don't want anyone to get attacked by your dog by mistake or anything like that. You don't want that. So, definitely have a fenced in area. Make sure somebody's watching your dog. Make sure your dog can be happy and healthy and everything, by being able to get exercise, has plenty of toys and things while outside and stuff so the dog doesn't get bored. And also make sure the dog has companionship so that the dog can play with other dogs, And also make sure your dog's getting, food, water. Make sure your dog is getting, make sure your dog is being taken for walks and stuff. Make sure your dog is getting your much needed breaks, which brings me to my last disadvantage of a dog guarding, which is that a dog is going to cost money. Okay? Your dog is definitely going to cost money, you're going to have to make sure you pay for food, shelter, make sure your dog's getting bathroom breaks. Make sure if your dog gets, grooming done, you have to make sure of that. You have to make sure your dog has its medications, and everything, the water, food, and everything. There are costs associated with a dog, but I think it's better to have a dog and the dog be there and they can, help you to avoid dangerous situations as opposed to like you not having a dog and somebody, is able to victimize you because you didn't have the awareness because you didn't have a dog. All right, so I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys stopping by and tuning in. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your night.